Yo, Joe. Talking comics, here's your host. It's A Real American Brian.
It's time to get into some more G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. Issue number 48. Mike Zeck provides a great cover of Zartan holding Gung-Ho hostage. Slaughter. Written by Larry Hama, pencils by Rod Wiggum. Destro tells Mindbender they can't be sure Storm Shadow died when Baroness shot him. Baroness reminds Destro that ninjas are capable of controlling their breathing and heart rate to appear to be dead. Mindbender orders some eels to take the body to cold storage. Scarlet is talking to Snake Eyes, who is upset after seeing Storm Shadow gunned down on Cobra Island. She takes him to head off and cheer up Ripcord. Doc is checking out Ripcord and is stunned to see the blood type doesn't match what they have on file for Ripcord. When he comes back to try and figure out what is going on, Zartan has changed from his Ripcord disguise into a Snake Eyes look and attacks him as he enters the room. The Dreadnoks are visiting Ripcord, disguised as Zartan, in the hospital. Buzzer is forced to face the music for stealing Zartan's new bike back in issue 35. As he is explaining how he was captured by the Joes and knows where the pit is, Ripcord/Zartan grabs him and asks where the girl is. Scarlet finds Doc and explains to him that it couldn't have been Snake Eyes that attacked him. She sounds the security alarm, and all of the other Joes in the pit are on guard looking for the intruder. As the Joes run around looking for the intruder, Zartan begins a cat-and-mouse game, this time taking on the look of Tripwire and sending the Joes past him. Zartan leaps out of bed and attacks Buzzer with a bedpan, demanding to know what he did to Candy. The other Dreadnoks come in and see Zartan has lost it. They agree they have to get him out of there before anyone sees he is gone. The Cobra Island diplomats are arguing for diplomatic relations with the U.S. Back on Staten Island, Sergeant Slaughter has arrived, his first comic book appearance. The Joes, still running around looking for Zartan, find Snake Eyes and grab him, taking off his mask. Scarlet clarifies that the intruder was wearing Snake Eyes' battle gear. The Dreadnoks have jacked an ambulance and are racing back to their Jersey hideout to try to get Zartan straightened out. A police cruiser chases them down and Buzzer cuts their nose off. The confusion is overtaking the Joes. Now they have two tripwires? As Doc comes in, talking about the blood sample having some chameleon properties, he walks into another version of Doc. Slaughter reports in at the motor pool with his orders. The Joes on edge don't trust it and threaten to dump his duffel. Slaughter makes it known that wouldn't be a good idea. The Dreadnoks stop for grape soda chocolate floats. Zartan climbs out of the bathroom window to make a call to Staten Island. The Joes get the call from Ripcord and know that the Ripcord in the pit is really Zartan. They grab a hold of the fake Doc, and Zartan is able to break free, blending into his surroundings, looking invisible. Duke has the pit closed off. He can't get out. They just have to find him now. Slaughter took out all the Joes that were harassing him, and they now trust he must be the real deal. They tell him there's a situation in the pit. Sarge tells them they need to be watching all the exits, then not just the motor pool exit. They head off to cover the ventilation ports. The Joes are laying their traps for Zartan, spray foam at the doors to get his footsteps, fire in the hallways to limit his options. Zartan sees Gung-Ho guarding the vent and attempts to turn into Duke to order him away from it, but Gung-Ho sees through it and attacks him. The alarms in the vents go off and Duke scrambles all the Joes above ground. They need to cover all of Fort Wadsworth to make sure Zartan doesn't escape. Gung-Ho has followed Zartan into the vents and continues fighting him there. At ease, troops. Which one of you is the imposter? He is. Guess we do it the hard way. Wow, I'm impressed. Sarge, how'd you know which one to deck? I didn't. The odds were 50-50. Guess I was lucky, huh? Hawk is in front of the jugglers, and the order has come down from the top. No Joe activity of any kind on Cobra Island. And that brings us to the end of this issue. Zartan's ruse has finally been discovered. Storm Shadow's on ice, and the Joes are ordered to stay away from Cobra Island. My favorite panel from this one is Sergeant Slaughter's first appearance. I was a big Sergeant Slaughter kid. As a Joe fan and a wrestling fan growing up, I loved him. Playing with my toys, he was always the leader of my G.I. Joes. Wish he was used more in the comics. This was another great issue. I'm going to give it a strong 4.5 flag points. We need to clean up this mess and move on. Let's see where we go from here. That is issue 48. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Subscribe so you don't miss the next issue.
You've been watching a Real American Brian production in association with the letters G, I, and JOE.